everyone. How are you doing? Happy Saturday. Hope you guys have a happy Sunday. What am I saying? What day is this? This is Sunday. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Polo. As you know, this is a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Pula Guy, the chickens, Mama Mia, all of us here at Sussex Squad, the Invictus community. I miss you guys. I haven't been on here for a couple of days, so I was about to record one and then drop it later, and I was like, well, no, I haven't spoken to my friends in a while. And I have a little bit of time, so let's just hang out and see, I know it's a really impromptu, I did this, try to do this, I think 7 minutes ago. It's like, no, let's just do a live. And so this is really impromptu. But I see 46 of my friends are here. Hi, guys. How are you? I was jump in the chat there for a second. Let's just get this music faded out. Finally got my mouse back so that way I can actually have control. Hi, guys. Oh, my goodness. My friends are hanging out with me. Church Nelly, happy Sunday. Happy day. And to all our wonderful squaddies out there in South Carolina, hello. I am so happy to see you guys. Karen, our awesome other moderator, is here. Hi, Karen and Connie, Mama. Hi, Connie. How are you? And Verda. Hi, Verda. I hope things are getting so much better for you, Verda. And Hildy is here. Hi, Hildy. How are you? And Carmen. And Evelyn is here. Hi, guys. I am so, whenever I take a day or two off, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have to reintroduce myself. I was like, it feels so long, And Brenda is here. Hello, Brenda. And Sistren and Sonia. Hi, guys. And Sharon. And Marie. Hi, Marie. Oh, Marie, there we go, Marie. And Kenitha. Hi, Kenitha. How are you? And Nelisa. Hi, Nelisa. Oh, wow. I love that name, Nelisa. Nelisa, not Melissa. Nelisa. Carmen and Veronica and Jacqueline. Hi, everyone. And, that's Karen. I'm sorry, Karen. I'm jumping to you again. Wait. For some reason, I jumped over Jacqueline. Jacqueline, where are you? I don't know where you are. Well, Norma is here. Hi, Norma. I think I got Sharon before. Well, welcome, guys. Lots of stuff has been happening. But our faves are, in spite of all the drama that's been going on and all the stuff that's been coming out and all the madness, our faves have been quiet and respectful, and in their mourning period, we have not seen them, we have not heard from them. And it is, it's so funny with all the stuff going on. Especially say around Queen Betty's funeral and all of those things. Like Harry and Meghan have been the ones that are just, really the ones that has really been mourning and really observed the mourning period, and really, stayed quiet, and all of their activities are stopped, and all of those things. So I, again, everybody mourns in differently, so I'm not gonna judge. But, they have just been, and that's the thing that I love about Harry and Meghan. They do what they say they're going to do, and so I love that about them. If they say they're mourning, that's it, and then they'll start up their activities and start up their, different things, after. So they have not violated that at all, and they have, not that it's violated in any way, but to say violated, I think that's probably a really strong word. But they have not gone back against what they promised that they would do. And throughout the whole, throughout the whole funeral and all of that stuff, it's just, they have been just the model of, in terms of, say, royal, how they do things. I mean, they've been a model to look at. And so till today is the end of that mourning period, thank the Lord. And tomorrow or wait, is it tomorrow the end of the month? I thought it was today. I thought today or tomorrow, whatever. But I am looking forward to the end of it, because Hello, I am so ready for archetypes that today I'm gonna be starting like Spotify. We're getting archetypes back on Tuesday, right? Because I am like really needing, episode 4. And so I know all of us are like, okay, we are over this, all the stuff that's been happening. And so we are definitely here for archetypes. And I am longing for to hear, the new, well, at least what they had promoted the last time was the Dragon Lady, which is definitely in the Asian culture is something that, is that at least that name is prevalent, one of the archetypes among Asian women. And Vanessa Nguyen, she had she's part Asian, so she had did this little, she posted this, she said next episode is archetypes, tackles the dragon lady stereotype. Looking forward to listening to what will definitely be a captivating and insightful discussion. And I'm looking forward to it too, I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also, I don't know when they're gonna do the mad black woman or the angry black woman one. So I am definitely looking forward to hearing that one as well. But a little bit about that, she also posted there. She says, it says Dragon Lady was a term created in the 1930s by the West to describe Asian women who are strong, sexual, deceitful, and domineering. So it's kind of like a little bit like how they describe, say black women, that stereotype that they like to tag black women with. The opposite of the dragon lady was Madame Butterfly, demure, passive, alluring in her naivety, about the opposite sex, and a martyr. Essentially, both of these terms are racial slurs aimed at objectifying and negatively portraying Asian women as one-dimensional stereotypes. Either we're evil and sexual, or we're martyred and passive. And so it'll be very interesting to hear the discussion. I think Lisa Ling, and I don't remember the other person that's going to be on that's going to be on the show as well. But I am definitely very much interested in this, again, this one, and also the angry black woman one. And I'm assuming that Issa Rae, I could see totally seeing Issa Rae on that one. And so yeah, so I'm like, that would be today with that. So these 2 weeks would be great time to hear those 2 episodes back to back, to see, the Asian stereotypes and then the black women stereotype, so it would be really powerful, I think, really, really powerful stuff. But I am like, again, I'm when I'm done here to be like, I go back on Twitter and I'd be like, Spotify, it's tomorrow. I mean, it's Tuesday, right? Right? Because I am, and I hadn't looked at the chart, the Spotify chart lately, but a few days when I go and I looked at it, it's still charting at the some places at the top, and some places like the US, even though it's been on hiatus for a couple of weeks, is at number 3, and people are still discovering it, on and not even squatties. I mean, if there's a squatty that hasn't listened to it, it'd be like, shame on you. you know totally shame. But people that has nothing to do, and they're just discovering podcasts and are, commenting on just how great. It seems like everyone's favorite is the one with Mindy. So not everyone, but a lot of people's favorites are the last one she did with Mindy. I love all of them. But I'm always partial to Mariah Carey. So I'm like, I love Mariah Carey. Mariah, and I mean, I think what it is, every one of them have something that's so different, and so I love different things about all of them, and so I mean, my girl Serena, hello, you know. And so I love them, and I also love Mindy's, just her vulnerability, talking about what it was like growing up in Boston. She felt like she was this fat little kid and the insecurities, and she's just so vulnerable. And then when she learned that Meghan, she just assumed Meghan was this pretty girl in school, and Meghan was like, no, she was the smart one. She wasn't considered a pretty one. And just her vulnerability, or just being open, and how you could tell she got really emotional because she felt like, wow, I wasn't the only one, and so there was a lot of things that I loved about that one as well. And so I have listened to them obviously multiple times. I'll probably be listening to them later on today again as I go for a walk. So, but anyways, and what else is happening in the world of royal stuff, or in and around royal stuff, as our faves are under a tree in Montecito? Hopefully they're just healing and doing whatever it is they're doing there, So, yes. So I'm telling you, I love Netflix because Netflix is so dirty sometimes. Not dirty, but they're just, they're all up in the mix. They know what's up, and I know Netflix knows what's going on. And yesterday, out of the blue, Netflix is like, oh, we're jumping into this. Since you all are messy on the other side of the pond, let's just throw a little thing into there. And I love this. The first time I saw it was Scobie's post, just popped up, no delays, that Netflix will have announced they will go ahead with The Crown season 5 release on its original scheduled date. I didn't realize there was an issue with the date. November 9th, the episodes will focus on Prince Charles's affair. I love it. Prince Charles's affair with Camilla Parker Bowles and the treatment of Princess Diana. Trailer to drop shortly, and boom, trailer just dropped. And so I love it. I absolutely love it because a lot of things they want to be dumping on the Sussexes, as we've seen in especially when the Sussexes were there and beyond, they're still doing it. And a lot of it is they don't want to deal with this. They don't want to deal, they don't want us to remember, what Charles and Camilla did to Princess Diana. They don't want us to they don't want us to remember that. And I had to correct one of these American royal reporters a couple of days ago, probably like 3-4 days ago. She wrote this, she contributed to this article that is basically saying, Camilla, they were like, they were basically comparing the press coverage of Meghan and Camilla. And basically the article is about Camilla used to get really bad press, but because of all the hard work that she's doing now, that the press cover her differently, that now she gets, good coverage. And I had to be like, excuse me, no. I basically had to tell Kristen, I was like, no, that is a lie. I was like, this article is a lie. Camilla is not getting good press because she does good work. I don't doubt that, people may benefit from, she does work with, ironically enough, abused women. I was like, this woman participated in a mental abuse of a woman who's a teenager and barely in her 20s. She contributed to that. And I don't know that Camilla's ever apologized for what she's done. But Camilla has been working with abuse, with an abuse charity. I guess this is more physical and mental abuse. When when you are physically abused, that does affect you mentally, obviously. So she works for that and is apparently very passionate about it. And I'm sure it's good work. I'm not gonna rag on her. People seem to benefit from it, so good. But that is not the reason why Camilla is getting good press. The reason that Camilla gets good press is because she's friends with all the editors of the tabloids and all the other papers. She has cultivated these relationships with them way back when Princess Diana was alive. And apparently and allegedly, you read some books and you take stuff with a grain of salt, but what they said is that she also used to leak information about Diana to those tabloids. Allegedly. Obviously, I wasn't there. She would do that. And so all of these she gets good, but you will never find anyone writing a bad article about Camilla ever because of that. Mark Boland, who was I think they're Prince Charles's press secretary, him and Charles, they worked on they really worked on those editors of these papers to transform Camilla, her reputation. So the reason why she gets all this, it's not because of the work she's doing. And again, I'm not going to knock her work. I don't, do that, especially if people are benefiting from it. To show those people, in those in the homes that she worked with, appreciate her being there and having someone as in her capacity supporting them. I'm sure it's an encouraging thing to them. So I'm not going to knock that at all. But the idea that Camilla is only getting good press because she's doing good work, that's nonsense. She is besties with, Lord Rothermere from the Daily Mail. She's besties with the Sun. I mean, I think she was besties with the Sun's editors in the past, and now even before that, she is known for her relationship with all of them. So that's why she gets good press. So that's why they always freak out when The Crown comes out. Because all of that good press is like thrown out and she has to deal with the repercussions of what she and Charles did to Princess Diana. And here we go again, November 9th, or after all this pomp and pageantry of Queen Camilla, Queen Consort, Queen Camilla. Here comes Netflix again, and again, with all the mess they've been throwing at the Sussexes lately. I love the messiness. I love that Netflix is like, we have something to say. Let's just change this narrative a minute, and let's just talk about, Camilla and Charles and what they did to Princess Diana. And so apparently this whole season is going to be about that. I don't know if it goes, I'm assuming it'll go straight through her death. I am assuming, I don't know. So I don't know if they will tackle her death this time or next season. I don't know. So, but, even with that, I think, I still don't trust because apparently Robert Lacey, I think it's Robert Lacey. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I thought I read somewhere that he is contributing to the Crown. And so if that is correct, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, I do need to go back and check that. I'm just thinking about it now, and I didn't think about it before, so I can check that again. But if I'm correct and he's contributing to that, I have a feeling they'll two sides this, where by the end of it, it's like, well, I guess it wasn't so bad. I guess, Charles and Camilla, well, they just loved each other. And, that's the one thing whenever things are coming out of the UK, I'm like, even though the others where Charles really looked bad, I just have a feeling they're going to two sides this, where, it almost waters down what Princess Diana's struggle was. I hope they don't. I hope they don't water down what the damage that they did to Princess Diana. I hope, so, but yeah, so, this is most inconvenient for the royal family because they're all under let's hate Harry and Meghan, ban right now. And so this is most inconvenient where you have to go back, because then what's going to happen with this is people are going to do the parallel, and they can't control the people doing the parallel between their treatment of Princess Diana and what they're doing to her son. And of course, that video that I had, in our show notes for quite a few episodes that has been going around, that is now 20 million views as of today, 20 million views right now of Prince Harry from the Me You Can See talking about this very same thing. About, them chasing, they're not going to stop until Meghan is dead. It's the same thing. And so that has been going around. Everyone has been, not everyone, but again, 20 million people have been viewing that. At least it has 20 million views. And so people are waking up who probably, ordinarily would not realize. So many people who've seen it are like, whoa, I'd never seen this before. One of the things I'm also realizing that is the Me You Can See was basically frozen out of the UK. Many people in the UK hadn't seen it. So they didn't know Harry said all this stuff. And so a lot of them now are going to start making that parallels between what they did to Princess Diana and what they're now doing to her son and his wife. And so, yeah, they're not happy. And, when they're not happy, I'm happy. Because it's like, no, we need to make you uncomfortable for what you're doing. So I just love the timing. I didn't know there was an issue as to what date. Again, I don't really pay attention to The Crown until, last season was the first time I'd ever watched The Crown, the last one. And I think I am probably missing an episode. I don't know if I missed an episode of it, but I had not seen it before, and I still hadn't seen the previous ones. I do need to one day go and catch up. So, you guys may be a lot further along with The Crown than I am. I just wasn't interested. And so last one I was, and so I watched, I would say 90, probably 95% of it, and have to go back and catch up on the rest. So, but anyway, I hope you guys are excited about The Crown. I hope, it will be really some incredible conversations, I would assume, that will be coming out of that. So, yeah, interesting. Very, 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 very interesting, I think. Also, let's see. I had something else. What was it I had to talk about with The Crown? Oh, I think it was this one. It's so funny how royal reporters, the moment The Crown comes up, is like they freak out, because these are the same reporters, Robert Jobson. How can Harry and Meghan carry on with this Netflix deal? There are many who believe this fiction is fact, which is The Crown. It will cause untold damage to our king and queen consort around the world early in his reign. And H&M really that hard up? Come on, H, show some loyalty to your country. Yeah, this was Robert Jobson. And it's so funny. Someone posted this one from Dan Wooten, like from 2020. Well, because they were moaning back in 2020. And for the first time in my entire life, and I had not seen this before. I think I saw it yesterday. I had not seen this tweet before. And I was like, oh boy, I think the cows are jumping over the moon. For the first time, I actually agreed with something Dan Wooten said. I was like, wow, there are cows jumping over a moon somewhere. Dan Wooten's like, can't believe Prince Charles's mates and staff are moaning about The Crown. What was Netflix to do? Pretend it wasn't he wasn't a horrible husband to Princess Diana, who treated a naive 20-year-old like dirt before cheating on her consistently and brazenly with Camilla? That happened. And again, for the first time, I actually agree with Dan Wooten. Because, if you're talking about, the royal family, exactly, are they supposed to pretend that, what he did to Diana didn't happen? And so, but it's very funny that, because we remember last time how they were freaking out, and and it really, he's not wrong in the sense that he did damage to Charles and Camilla's reputation, so much so they literally had to turn off the comments on, I think it was their Instagram or their Twitter account, because of all the comments, the negative comments that were coming their way. So they had to turn off comments. And so Robert Jobson is here really screaming, why can't Harry show loyalty to his country and basically hide the vicious vileness of the royal family from the world, which is what he's saying, And mind you, all the people now coming out with books trashing Harry and Meghan, you will never hear a reporter telling them not to write their book. Some of those people are like, one of those people is Robert Jobson himself. They feel perfectly fine to write books trashing Harry and Meghan. Perfectly fine doing it. But no, Harry, and then making tons of money off of it. But no, Harry cannot write a book about his own life. He can't make money off of his own life. They have to make money off of it. And then using come on, Harry, show loyalty to your country. It's like, were you thinking about loyalty to your country when y'all are writing books trashing Harry and Meghan? No, you're thinking about your pocketbooks. So it's but again, shock of shocks. Yes, I actually, agreed with something that Dan Wooten said for a change. But it is just, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I'm gonna jump in the chat and see if you guys are feeling the same way I am feeling um about the Crown. Let's see. Karen M, our awesome moderator, says, did anyone see the trailer for Queen Charlotte? I can't wait to see it. Unfortunately, it's not going to be out until 2023. I saw a photo, and did it say Charlotte and George? And it was kind of, I was just like, ew, because, in my mind, Charlotte is a little Charlotte and her brother George. I was just like, ew. And it looked like they were like lovers or something. And I was like, oh that would be kind of weird, because my mind is like, it's like, but I did not see a trailer. I don't know if anybody else did see it. I saw a picture of it. And is that what is it, Bridgerton? Is it the same as Bridgerton? Like, I don't know. I've lost track of what is what. So I don't know if it was part of Bridgerton or if it's a spin-off of Bridgerton, but it kind of looked like the same thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Lydia is here. Hi, Lydia. Lydia is reminding everyone that that's right. The fundraiser is going on. It's still going on until the end of the month. Thank you so much, Lydia. I hadn't checked it since the 15th, so I don't know what it's. I know it was over 52,000. I don't know what it is like now. What it is now. But thank you so much, Lydia, our awesome moderator. Let's see. Oh, Lydia says it is 56,000 raised. Wow, that is awesome. With 918 supporters. Wow, and 5 days left. Thank you so much, Lydia, for that public service announcement. Thank you. And hi, Anne. Anne says, please info. Oh no. So you've been blocked from getting onto live. Okay, so I will send Baron a message and let him see what that is. I know sometimes he does, and I could be wrong, so maybe you guys can correct me. A couple of times I hadn't been able to. I think you have to I think he might do some of his lives where it's only for subscribers. So that might be a case as well. So I will send him a message when I'm done. I will DM him and let him know that you're not able to get onto his live. So thank you for letting me know, and hopefully that is worked out soon. Let's see. Hi, Sylvia. Sylvia says, thank you for always step thinking up and setting uninformed U.S. reporters straight. I would hope that, I think it's one of the most frustrating things for me is, look, if you're going to do an interview, do some research. And get deeper than the surface of what has been spewed out from the royal reporters. I mean, I think it's I do expect better from U.S. reporters. I do expect a deeper report. I do expect, and I think because I am such a big fan of Rachel Maddow, and I think that is why just her dedication to doing research and getting the backstory of things is what inspires me. And for me, that is the standard of journalism I expect from American reporters. I can't stand it when, you hear some, the other day they were talking about Don Lemon, where this lady came on and spouting nonsense about the slave trade and all of that. And she's spouting all these lies. And Don Lemon couldn't say anything. Why? Because he didn't do any research. He couldn't challenge her about anything because he didn't do any research. And I think, and again, he had done the same thing, and I hadn't seen the report, but I know one of our squaddies came on Twitter and was very much complaining about some reporter went on his show. I guess some royal reporter or somebody went on his show, and it was the same thing. He couldn't challenge, he couldn't question anything they're saying because he didn't do any research. And so for me, that kind of thing is just laziness. It's a level of laziness that I don't, you're not going to be perfect, obviously. You're going to make mistakes, as I have in a lot of cases. I'm not even, I'm not a journalist. I'm a wannabe journalist, I guess. But I'm like, I try my best to do research, read stuff before before you do an interview, so that way you're not just shallow. And it's just, that was very irritating. And it was very surprising coming from somebody I thought should know better. And so it just, yeah, do some research before you do those interviews. Let's see. Hi, Mrs. S. Oh, I have not seen you or spoken to you or said hi to you in forever. I am so happy you're here. She says, I'm catching you live. Well, it's so funny. The last few times, I think 3 of the last 4, I have not had a live. I've just done like a premiere or just a regular video post because my schedule sometimes is a little bit crazy, and so I record late at night when I would not dare to do a live because you're all sleeping somewhere. Or maybe it's day in some parts of the world, I'm sure in Australia or something, but I would just record a video and drop it. So this is my first probably the second live I've done for the past week, so you didn't miss anything. So yeah. Joan Hickey says, hi, Joan. Joan says, that's hilarious. Abusive women like them pretending to care about animals. Yeah, it's, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. If you're talking about Camilla stuff, it's just, I think what happens a lot of times is that we compartmentalize, like I am this way here, and I'm this person over there, and I'm this person over there. So, and never these 3 personalities can meet. So you'd see that a lot. People could do very brutal things and want, to people, and then they go home and the most loving parents to their kids. You know what I mean? And so we have learned to master compartmentalizing, and I'm like, that is just so tiring. Why not just be one person? I'm like, just one person is too much for me to try to like, I couldn't do it. I just could not do it. I'm like, look, I am who I am. This is what you get, no matter where I am. So I'm all about that. Let's see. Oh, someone just gave me a Super. Let me try to find you. Let's see. Where are you? Huh. Let's see. That's wild. That I cannot. Someone just made a donation and I cannot find it in the chat. Where is it? That is so wild. I am so sorry. I know you donated $5 and I appreciate it so much, but I cannot find it. This is the second time, or not second, but a few times this has happened where for some reason it is not showing up in the chat. And I saw it at the top and I'm just trying to find it, to highlight it, to say thank you. And I am so sorry. I cannot find it. I cannot find your post for some reason. I am so sorry. But if I find it, thank you. Until I find it, whoever you are that donated that, I appreciate it so, so much. That is so wild. I don't know why this does this. But anyways, I'm going to move on. And hopefully I find it. But whoever donated it, I thank you so much for your donation. Thank you. Oh, wait, here it is. TCC Sun. Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. Goodness. She's TCC Sun says Queen Charlotte. Oh, it's Queen Charlotte, Black Queen of England. Charlotte NC is named after her. Charlotte NC is named after her. Okay. Is a spin-off of Bridgerton. Okay. Shonda Rhimes is going to tell her story. Okay. See, that's what it kind of, I just saw the picture and I didn't know anything else about it, but it had that kind of Bridgerton kind of feel. So that's what I was thinking, even though I didn't see, I actually didn't even realize it was a trailer. I only saw the picture. So I would take a look at it after, but it did give that Bridgerton feel. So cool. So I wasn't too far off of that. So Angela says, also CNN is becoming more GOP friendly. I wonder if Rupert has a toehold in there. Actually, someone said the person who is now running CNN is actually someone close to Rupert Murdoch, so I am not surprised at all. And I have heard that definitely that it is definitely becoming more GOP friendly. And a lot of people are saying they're not going to be watching CNN. I only get clips because I don't watch television, so I don't see it. But I mean, I know they have their streaming. You can stream it, and I don't. So, and actually recently blocked them. So um but I did see the Don Lemon. I did see the Don Lemon clip where the British lady was basically lying and he couldn't say anything. Diane says Don Lemon sat silent as multiple unroyal experts spouted lies during Liz's funeral service. CNN, ABC, NBC rushed to fill the airspace with folks talking. No time devoted to research or vetting experts. I am not surprised. It's like if you have a British accent, then you will do. And it is just, it's really sickening because, as you said, there's so much lies that, I mean, if we know from, that's why we have most of them blocked, because most of them are just lying. They're spinning a narrative and it is just lies. And then they're just feeding that because again, nobody's doing research. So they can't challenge anybody. They can't ask questions. They don't even know what questions to ask. They just have to take what the royal reporters say. If they lie, then that's it. So it's either they don't care, they don't care about the truth in this area. They just want to spin the fantasy. They just, especially NBC, and I talk about them all the time, NBC and ABC. They want the fantasy. And so it wasn't surprising when the day the Queen died, I think I've spoken about it here before. Actually, NBC was at Dumfries' house. They're setting up to do an interview with Prince Charles. So I'm not surprised. What are the chances that they would have asked them about all the mess that's been going on at Dumfries' house? Probably zero. And I think Jenna Bush was there. She talked about they were setting up when the helicopters came in to take him to Balmoral. When they realized that she was really, her health was really going down. So it's really interesting. Sylvia says, well, if you notice how crazy the UK media gets when Gayle King gives an honest update about Harry and Meghan. In my opinion, it is because it does not keep with their lying narrative. Absolutely. That's why they hate her. It's the same reason they hate Omid. Now they really go after Omid now. It's like every time Omid comes, his article comes out, his name is trending because they go crazy because they are so afraid of people telling the truth. And it's exactly it, because they know when Gayle says something from Harry and Meghan, she'll be telling the truth, and it doesn't go with their narrative. You're completely on point, Sylvia. Completely on point. So, I mean, I would love for, whether Gayle or somebody, to do like an in-depth ripping apart of all of the nonsense of the royal family, just really pulling down the curtain and let people see and let Americans see behind, because I don't think not that many Americans would care, but to rip up the lying narrative that's been out there, and the fantasy thing that, and again, a lot of right-wing America would not like it because that's their mothership. That's their white supremacist mothership. So they're not going to appreciate that. But I think people need to know. They absolutely need to know. So Gwendolyn says, Don has lost his appeal for me when he said something negative about Meghan. I think Don Lemon has lost his appeal for a lot of people. Apparently, he just got demoted at CNN. Apparently, he had a show, and then now he's now co-hosting with a couple of people, and so apparently that's the demotion. I don't know, but he's definitely doesn't have the prominence. And again, it's kind of like if you see that where he hasn't done his research, or people will come and spout lies on his show and he can't challenge them because he didn't do research, then you don't deserve to have a show. You know what I mean? You don't, I couldn't watch that. So yeah. Again, my standard for stuff like that is Rachel Maddow. I think she is one of the talk about research and getting the backstory about things. That's my standard. And so for me, that's the standard that I hold American journalism. So yeah. Let's move on a little bit and then we'll come back to the chat in a second. What else is happening? Let's see. Oh, this is happening. I'm sure I don't know if you've paid attention to this or not, but last episode, I think it was the last episode, we talked about, the police, tweeting out that Charles was there and visiting the police station. But of course they did not, they didn't, my thing was like, what about the fact that you're supposed to be investigating, investigating Prince Charles? You're also sitting there tweeting about, that he's come to visit your, the Metropolitan Police Station and to thank people and stuff. And I'm like, and I tweeted at Gabriel Pagan and it's like, what about that investigation? And I tagged him when I was about that. And so I didn't get a response. And, then he basically tweeted out an article from the Newsweek, which I shared last week. He tweeted out an article that because now King Charles, because now he is King Charles, he is most likely going to be immune from prosecution. So that was the thing last week. So that was becoming news. And so because that became news, Metropolitan Police had to be like, let's deal with this. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days ago, Metropolitan Police tweets out, Gabriel Pagan tweets out, breaking Metropolitan Police. They announced they have interviewed 2 men under caution in King Charles Cash for Honours investigation. Scotland Yard steps up criminal probe into Charles's aides after he accedes to the throne. Notice, after he acceded to the throne, they did this. All you need to know here, and basically he linked the his episode or the Times episode about just the step by step how this whole cash for honours deal went down. And the full statement from, this is the full statement, how little it says. It says, on Tuesday, 6 September, police interviewed a man aged in his 50s and a man aged 40s under caution in relation to offenses under the Honors Prevention Abuse Act in 1925. So they are saying that 2 days before the Queen passed, they interviewed them. Question mark on that one, but that's what they said. They want us to know that they're not just interviewing them after, but they interviewed them 2 days before the Queen passed. So whatever, we'll have to take their word for that. But the Guardian picked it up and they said 2 men have been questioned under caution by officers investigating the Cash for Honours allegation linked to King Charles III Charity and Princess Foundation. In a brief statement, the Metropolitan Police confirmed that on September 6th, officers interviewed a man in his 50s and a man in his 40s under caution in relation to the offenses under the Honors Prevention Abuse Act 1925. The force launched the investigation in February after media reports alleged alleged offer to help were made to secure honors and the citizens of a Saudi national. And then it goes on to talk about Mr. Mahfouz, which we've talked about here at nauseum. Bin Mahfouz had been one of the biggest donors of Charles's charity and even has a forest named after him, the Mahfouz Woods, in the 15th century Castle of May, formerly the Queen's mother's home and now one of Charles's Scottish residents. The donations of more than 1.5 million helped to fund renovations of residences used by Charles and other charitable ventures. The Princess Foundation publicly lists Mahfouz as a patron. And again, we've talked about this again over and over and over. But it's very interesting. I think they hadn't said anything about it until they started getting pressure, from the fact that, one, they put out that video about Charles visiting, and then everyone is like, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be investigating? And, Peter, what is that? Peter, oh shoot, I forgot his last name. But one of the reporters that I quote here a lot, and I can't remember his last name, but he also tweeted, he's like, the only way that the Metropolitan Police will have any kind of, like any kind of respect in this situation is if they interview Prince Charles as well. He needs to be he is the name. This is his foundation. You can't just interview people. And again, a man in his 50s and one in his 40s. I mean, maybe I should have looked up how old Michael Fawcett. I don't know how old Michael Fawcett is. He might be, I don't know that he might be 60s. I don't know, but I don't know today his age. If anyone is on online, I could check for me. That would be really great. So we could, that would, Peter Hunt, thank you so much. Peter Hunt, that is who I wanted to, I was mentioning. Peter Hunt, that's the one. He's the one that's tweeted, is like, yeah, if you're going to have any credibility, if this investigation is to have any kind of credibility whatsoever, you have to interview Prince Charles. You have to investigate him, because again, this is his charity. This is his baby. You cannot tell me that Michael Fawcett, who is so close to Prince Charles, did not tell him about this. The fact that we have all that evidence we looked at the last time with Prince Charles. I mean, hello, Prince Charles here in the UK with Mahfouz, him being in Riyadh with Mahfouz's family, when he was there, that's when, there was a holdup with Mahfouz's CBE. The moment Prince Charles got there, 24 hours later, that CBE went through. Prince Charles went there and did that whole ceremony private, when we know whenever they're doing those CBE and stuff honors, they do a ton of people. Mahfouz is the only one that got his own private CBE ceremony. I mean, hello. It's not even in the court circular. So you cannot tell me, I mean, no person with any kind of common sense is going to say Prince Charles didn't know anything about this. It's nonsense. It is absolutely nonsense. So it's ridiculous. And again, it is against the law. It's a crime what he did. Michael, thank you. So Michael Fawcett is 59 years old. Thank you, our awesome moderator. And that's why I love our community. Very, very, very knowledgeable community. Thank you. So Michael Fawcett is 59. So again, Michael Fawcett, until in actually the early part of August, Gabriel Pagan and his team were reporting out that, the Metropolitan Police had put out in February that they were investigating this case. August, they had not even, and this is the chief person the key person, Michael Fawcett, involved in the Cash for Honors, and they had not interviewed him in August. Again, they started that investigation in February. In August, Michael Fawcett was still waiting for somebody to call him. Nobody did. And so no doubt the pressure from those articles had put on them so that they will do something about it. And now, because they've been getting pressure about Prince Charles, possibly being immune from prosecution, they want to at least appear credible. And again, for them to be, just as Peter Hunt was saying, for them to be credible, they have to interview Prince Charles, or else what's the point? Is he gonna get the hit for this? Chances are not, but they at least have to appear credible. So we will see. Put a pin in that one somewhere, or pencil it in somewhere. But Joan says Rachel Maddow is a popular longtime host at MSNBC. Yes, she is. One of my favorite investigator reporter. I love how she investigates, and she just you can just go down like a rabbit hole with her stories. Like, she starts one way and he's like, you never know where she ends up. But it's like, oh my gosh, there are all these strings to these things, and I love it. I love the way, she's not everybody's cup of tea. The right-wing hater, Trump hates her, obviously, and anybody they hate, is doing something good. And again, even for some people that are on the left, she's not their cup of tea, but she's definitely my cup of tea, because I love the way how her investigative skills, and I love how the way she tries to get to the root of something, and she doesn't do shallow things, and I love that about her. And she's straight to the point. So yeah, I like that. Verda Sanchez says that is a shame that King Charles cannot be prosecuted, but there is a God and sits high, and he's going to get him. Man may not be able to touch him. Man may not be able to touch him, but our Father in heaven will touch him. Definitely true. I mean, what you get away with here, definitely. There's the God that's watching. But I would like for them to, again, with the British law as it is, the Queen was immune to just about everything. The law didn't apply to her. And so I would assume that is the same thing with Prince Charles. I would, a lot of people may go down for this example, like Michael Fawcett, but again, that's Prince Charles's favorite person. And even though technically he is not working for Prince Charles, I wouldn't doubt that he in some way is still involved with whatever Prince Charles do, because it's like, I don't believe that, they have completely cut ties with him. I think, publicly, yes, but I don't think that is, I don't believe that at all. I don't have any information as to, what the relationship is, but I would be very surprised if they have completely cut ties with Michael Fawcett. So, let's see. Oh, moving on. So it's so funny because we were talking about, I was thinking, I was putting together the thing for this last topic about Prince Charles and just his mess at Dumfries House, and how it just is in the middle of every single thing. And so I was reading up something, and then up pops, different houses for Prince Charles. And I was like, oh, it's be kind of good to look at that, because we've done, Prince William's 5 homes and 4 properties, and now it's going to be 5 properties, because then he's going to have access and may move into Windsor Castle, so he will have access to those 4 other properties plus Windsor Castle. So yeah, Windsor Castle, that 1,000 room, that's right, Windsor Castle has 1,000 rooms, a 1,000-room castle, apart from all the other ones that he has access to. And it's unreal to me. And so I was, in thinking about Dumfries House, I was like, well, why don't we look at all the homes that are now available to Prince Charles that he owns? And some, a couple of them are castles, so they are probably owned by, say, the crown or the state, whatever, but they are the ones that use it. They are the ones that have access to it. But the top left is Dumfries House. Yep, that's the famous Dumfries House, just in case you hadn't seen a picture of it before. That is the one that is at the root and the center of all those cash for access, cash for honors, cash in a bag, cash in a suitcase. Pick it. That's the Dumfries House on the top there. And bottom of there is the other one, Castle of May. And all of these 4 homes are in Scotland, by the way. I don't know why you need all these homes in Scotland, but they do. Castle of May is at the bottom. That's the other one that is involved in the cash for access, cash for honors thing. That is also where Mr. Mahfouz, they have the forest that's named after Mr. Mahfouz. So that's the bottom left there. That's Castle of May. That was the Queen's mother's house that Charles inherited from her. Burke Hall, that's also in Balmoral property there at the top right, and that's Balmoral at the bottom. All of this, again, is in Scotland. I don't know why you need all of these homes in Scotland, but that's in Scotland. Also, these are also in Scotland. Craigowen, that's on Balmoral property as well. When the Queen goes to Balmoral, she usually stays there for a little bit, and then they have this kind of procession to go to the big house. It's just unreal. I'm like, what? And yes, and so I guess it's called Craigowen. I mean, I guess that's how they pronounce it. And then Holyrood House, Castle, I should say, Holyrood Castle. That's also a castle for the royal family in Scotland. And mind you, when you look at it, you remember when the Queen got exemption from Scottish laws, so that she did not have to follow environmental laws in Scotland. And you're like, okay, well, you have at least these 6. This is what I know. I mean, I'm sure there are probably others in Scotland. Again, I don't know why the royal family needs 6 houses or more in Scotland. Have no idea, because I think, was it Tamnagar where I think that's where I think it's either there or Sandringham, that one is. I don't remember, or whatever. Anyways, why does Prince Charles need all of these homes in Scotland? I have no idea. And again, they, those environmental laws that they have, exemption from. So no matter, you look at all of these homes, they literally, the Queen got exemption, so they don't have to follow any of these Scottish laws. Again, this is why I was talking about this the other day when Prince William, during that little speech he gave for the Earthshot Prize that they were doing in New York, and he wasn't able to attend, and he did this video, and he's talking about his, the environment is something that's close to his grandmother's heart. And again, I was pointing out that she died at Balmoral, the place where that's the one at the bottom there. That's the place she died there. And that's the place where, also, again, they have all these other properties, but she got exemption she doesn't have to follow environmental laws. And so it's like, and you think about it, it's like, how many people in Scotland don't have a home or can't heat their home and all of those things? And you have all of these. And now the ones that, really belong to the Queen have now, obviously, now Prince Charles is now Prince Charles's. So he inherits all of that stuff. Apparently they're going to, he's thinking of turning Balmoral into a museum for the people of the, and that way, I guess they could make money off of it. So yes. But again, why did, not that Prince Charles have kids that are actually interested in all these properties. Apparently William and Harry, well, Harry has his own life, is interested in taking any of this stuff from him, but he has all these properties. And it's like, okay, what are you going to do? How can you, when you're in Scotland, say you're in Scotland for a month, what do? Just spend 2 days in one and then go spend another few days in another one and then spend a few days in another one. It's like, what? It's unreal. And again, this is Scotland. And then this is his home in Wales. I don't know how you say it. It's, oh shoot, that my time thing is blocking it, so I can't even see. It's Lewinwood or something like that. But this is one home. I just have different views of it. But this is his home in Wales. So he has that. And then this is his home. These are his homes in England. Highgrove, which apparently is his, that's his heart and soul, Highgrove. And then he has Sandringham, which was the Queen's, but obviously she's passed on, so that now drops to him. Sandringham, top right. And then at the bottom, he is Buckingham Palace, where he wasn't sure he wants to live it, but apparently that's where he's going to be living. And then you have Clarence House. And so he has 4 of these, and there are other castles in England that they have access to and whatever, but he has access to all of these. Now, why does he need all of these again? And it's like, and then in Northern Ireland, this is Hillsborough Castle. That's their home in Northern Ireland. And it's just like, I'm telling you, there are more. I was just like, after a while, it's like, I just can't even. Because it's like, why do they need all of these homes when there are people that have no homes? People's, they can't, feed their families. They can't. And it's just like, why do you need 12 homes and more? And now they're trying to, because obviously some of them are not, people aren't living in them. So apparently they now have to figure out, okay, well, what am I going to do with this one? Who's going to live here? And it's just like, people don't have homes. How about donating one to the homeless? How about, donating? It's just unreal to me that people are not protesting this. Why are they not I don't understand. I honestly don't understand why they aren't protest about this. And, actually, maybe it's just a bounce from the funeral and whatever. I guess his approval rating is even better. And it's just, it's amazing. And so, again, when you have fed people this fantasy and have people buy into your fantasy, I mean, they have done you got to give props to the royal family too, right? They have cultivated and a people that really buy into this and really buy into the fact that that they are somehow superior and therefore worthy of having all of this stuff, while people, I even saw a video today of one of these council homes in England where water is literally falling through the roof of this home, and this family, I think it's like a family of 7 with a 10-month-old baby, and this has been going on since September 1st or something, and it's just like, oh my gosh. And there are these people with all of these homes that are sitting there. There's not enough people to put in all of these homes. And they're just, no sense of, well, let me give. We have all these people who are homeless. Maybe they could use all these rooms and turn them into apartments where people who actually need a home could live. And it's just, and again, they have cultivated a people who just, to believe in the fantasy that they're selling them. And they have a media that really works on them to really carry that fantasy on. And that's why it's so irritating when American journalists just allow the lies and the fantasy to come here, because you have Americans buying into that lie that these people, that this is okay. You have all of this and everybody else starve, and you're perfectly fine with that. But then you go out and you use poor people with these so-called charities that you support. You use people as props, especially Black people. And they're so grateful to shake your hand because they think some magic dust or fairy dust is going to come off from you onto them. You are just ripping them off. Why are people like these getting money from taxpayers? I will never understand. I will never, ever understand. So again, that's my thing. I am not British. Again, none of my taxes is going to this, but it hurts to see this sort of thing. That you have so much and you don't give. And and people say, like, even with this the Princess Trust and the Princess Foundation and all of those things, that no, they support the community, they give back, and it's like, no, they don't. The reason why Prince Charles is in all of this mess with cash for access, cash for honors, is he takes rich people's money, nefarious characters, that those are the money that he uses to put into these charities. He doesn't use his own money. It's not coming out of his pocket. He takes money from these notorious characters. That is what is funding his charities, and that's the money that he's using. Basically, he's using a lot of that dirty money, and that's the whatever he gives, he's not using his own money. He's not sacrificing his own money. And that's how a lot of people, rich people do. They go out and fundraise and use other people's money to do donations. They don't use their own money. They pocket their own money. And a lot of times with rich people, what they do is they skim off the top. In that book, and what do you do, which I've referenced on here before, it talks about the generation of kings and queens that came before Charles and even the past queen. That's how they got rich. They would skim off the top. Like, for example, when they get, it wasn't called a sovereign grant back then. I don't remember the name, something list, I think it was called. What they would do a lot is, when they get the money, they'll skim money off the top and pocket it. And that's how they build their wealth. Now, I'm not saying Queen Elizabeth did that, but would I be shocked if I heard that? No, because that's how their ancestor did. That's how they built wealth. They would give them, their equivalent of the sovereign grant, and they will skim money off the top. So again, I'm not saying she did. I have no, I don't have any verification or any proof or anything that she did any of that. But will I be shocked? No, I wouldn't at all, because that's how their people did it back in the day. And that's how they built wealth. And, would I be shocked if I were to hear that, when those rich people put their money in the charities, that some of that was skimmed off the top and they pocket? Would I be shocked? No, I wouldn't. I don't have evidence that they did it, but I wouldn't be shocked at all. Because again, that's how a lot of them build wealth. So It's oy, 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 oy. Rich people. Anyways, Kenitha says Charles's residential home in Ireland cost £24 billion to renovate. Oh my goodness. Wow. So this property right here cost 24 million to renovate. Ouch. Kenitha, do you know? And again, I didn't know that. So do you know? Was it taxpayers? Oh, I don't even. Do I want to know if taxpayers funded this renovation? And is it also open to the public? I don't know that information. So if you have it, definitely share. Oh boy. I mean, this is a massive property, and so now we know why, Scotland is not feeling them. Northern Ireland is not feeling the royal family. We've talked about Australia recently. They had all these protests about it. So people are getting sick of it. I mean, especially that the cost of living crisis and all of that stuff as it is right now. People are not having patience for it. And I hope the protests, they have been, whether it's jailing people or whatever, people are losing their job if they speak negatively of the Queen or anything like that. So there's that going on. But I hope that people will take courage and really start protesting this, because this is ridiculous. So yeah. Sylvia says, Robert Lacey said the plan for Harry, if he were to marry, was for him to marry with like Annabelle, I guess a girl like Annabelle. I don't know who Annabelle is, and move him to the country in Scotland. Oh, but Harry married. He said said the megastar Meghan, and I'm assuming you have more to this. I didn't realize it was gonna move him to Scotland. I don't know who Annabelle is, but I didn't hear about Scotland. I do know, or at least I did hear that he was interested in giving Clarence House to Harry. That's what I heard. But obviously Harry has his own thing going in the US, so that's a moot point right now. So I hadn't heard about Scotland, but he has all these properties. Now they're trying to find people to put them in there. It's just like unreal. Let's see. Veronica Jade 20 says, are Charles approval ratings truly better? Who knows? I don't know. I haven't seen a specific poll, but that's what the reporting was saying, that, but they weren't sure if it's just the bump because of the positive, and just the feelings towards his mother. That could be it. It's, it's only been like a week, not even. So that could be just, again, she only was buried a few days ago and people still have those positive and emotional attachment to her. So give it a few weeks and see if that is the truth. I don't know. I didn't see a specific, poll, but that's what the reporting was saying, that his approval is a little bit better. So who knows? I don't know. Would I be shocked if it's a lie? No, absolutely not. We know what comes out of Britain. You have to, really swallow a ton of salt before you take it in. So yeah. Let's see. Marjorie says, Ja being hit by Ian. The news here in Jamaica is bracing for Ian. Oh wait, is that a hurricane? Oh my gosh, I'm hoping not. I know Puerto Rico just got hit, and so I am hoping not. I am so sorry. Wow, we gotta pray for you guys. No, I don't want Jamaica being hit by, if that's what you're talking about. No, I don't want that. So please pray for Jamaica. That hurricane goes up, but stay at sea and calms down over the sea. So wow. Michael says, King corrupt check. He was never a good person. Look at how he treated Princess Diana, marrying her for a uterus, making her feel less than because she was more popular than him, and cheating on her. Yes to all. And again, it's just I always go back to just, you groom a teenager, marry her when she was 20, and then really with your girlfriend Camilla mentally abuse this woman. They definitely used her for a uterus. They needed someone to bear heirs, and then treated her like trash after. It's like, you know, I don't understand why they could be complaining or be upset at Netflix. I mean, are you serious? You did, as you know, again, I can't believe I'm quoting Dan Wooten, but yeah, you did that. That did happen. You know, so you can't be upset. I mean, you don't want to be called a jerk, then don't be one. You know, you don't want to be called horrible, then don't be horrible. That's just it. You know, so, but he's never going to live that down. He is just never, ever going to live that down at all. But yes, Michael, yes, yes, yes to all of those things. And oh well, we looked at that before. And just changing topics a little bit. You know, in staying in the Caribbean for a second. St. Kitts Nevis foreign minister and former PM Denzel Douglas has reportedly said it's time for the nation to discuss dropping the British monarchy following the Queen's death. I would say, you know, I'm hoping that countries in the Caribbean really just sort of, I don't know, just kind of get hot with this. You know, it's because we tend to drag our feet a lot. Like, yeah, we're going to do it next year or next 2 years. And then it's kind of like you kicking it down the road and kicking it down the road. And yeah, it's time. It's time to stop talking and start doing. You know, if you're going to do something, just do it. And again, one of the things that I totally, even with, say, the prime minister or the prime minister of Australia, it's the same thing. This guy came in, he was supposedly really excited to cut ties and kick the monarchy to the curb and as head of state. Now he's kind of dragging his feet, you know, and he's like, well, it's not going to be my first term or my first year or whatever it is he says. And he is not as excited to do it right now. And it's just like, what happened to that, you know, Republican spirit you had? The same thing, you know, even I love Jacinda Ardern, but people are protesting in New Zealand, like, you know, it's time. And she's like, well, you know, I think she said not this term or something like that. And again, it's the same thing that I talked about. I think is that thing about proximity to royalty. A lot of these leaders do not want to give up, and that's what it seems. They do not want to give up their proximity to royalty, and they are dragging their feet. It's like they don't really want to cut the strings, because then they're not going to have that royal clout and that because for them, a lot of times I feel like for them, that's the status. That's the, you know, again, the mothership. And I'm not saying they're, you know, white supremacists, but again, that's the wrong mothership. And I think that for me, the same thing with Caribbean leaders. That's why they're dragging their feet like this, because they don't want to give that up. And so prayerfully, the next generation of people will come up and lead that really don't care about the monarchy. And then they will just cut the strings, because I have major doubts that the people that are in power right now will do it. Especially Jamaica, I have major doubts. And again, Chef will be like, "Pedro, no, he's gonna do it." And it's like, oh no, I'm really happy. You know, I'm glad for her, you know, confidence in Prime Minister Holness. I just don't have any. I don't see it. And so who knows? Maybe he will. I think he was in the U.S. A few days ago at the UN. So maybe, who knows? We'll see. Let's see. Do I have any other things for that? No, I think I'll just stay in the chat with you guys. That's all I wanted to say. So let's hang out with you guys in the chat for a bit and see what's on your mind. It's actually been a very, even with all the mess that's happening, going on in and around, say, the royal thing, you know, it's been kind of quiet. Well, definitely quiet on our phase end. So we'll hopefully just stay that way until Tuesday and Archetypes comes out. So yeah. Mira says, at least if Charles don't want to donate, he should stop taking taxpayer money, which can be used to help people in need. Perfect point, Mira. Absolutely. That £102 million that they had last year, which is a lot more, because what they don't do is put in what they pay for security, which the Republic group says it's more like 300 and something million pounds that are paid to the royal family from the sovereign grant. Again, they don't include security costs and probably other costs they don't want people to know about. And so, yeah. But yeah, if they don't give it to them and give that money to taxpayers, think of what what life would be like for so many people. And again, they are also renovating Buckingham Palace, which was like what, 369 million pounds over 10 years. So it's like, 36 million pounds per year going on that every year. And so it just, yeah, I mean, all that money that's going to them, they have all that money. Again, they are not using their own money when they donate. So why should taxpayers pick up the bill for them? Let's see. Whitland Harper. Hi, Whitland. Whitland says, some of these properties are publicly owned, and I believe that they should be converted to sightseeing and events hosting venues, put money into public works, benefiting the people. And I totally agree. For example, well, Balmoral is actually privately owned, but he's apparently thinking of turning it into a museum. Obviously, Buckingham Palace is public, is public owned, but they are the only ones who could actually use it. But they do. I mean, I think there's a museum there, but it is at the moment being renovated, so I don't know how much of it is open to the public. I know they had the garden parties there over the summer, and so, but I don't know how much of the interior of it is complete. So I don't know how much is. So again, that's a 10-year project from whenever it is they started it. That will be going on. I would assume, I think there are some, for example, Windsor Castle, I think that's, they open it sometimes. There are parts of it that's a museum that they open up, and also the grounds so people can pay. I mean, quite morbid. They actually been charging people, what is it, $28.50 or whatever it is, to see the Queen's tomb. And it's like, oh, that's a little morbid. She just got there. So they're making money off Queen. It's like Queen Betty's like, I am dead. Why? Let me rest in peace for a minute, and so they are making money off of Queen Betty's burial site. And it's again quite morbid, but they are doing that. So let's see. Anne Fu, hi Anne. Anne says, if it sings so low to take away some letters HRA from the mother of his children, do you really think they will think of the poor? Oh, all they do is fool the poor. Oh, okay. So if he took away the HRH from the mother of it, I mean, I don't know that it equates to, at least for me, that it equates to, treatment of the poor, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, he treated her shabbily, and and on the other side, yeah, too. Yeah, they don't lip service. A lot of it, it's like lip service. You want to help the poor? Hello, home, food. One of the things, again, I read an article today, or not read, I saw the headline, I should say. I have to go back and read it, but it talks about how kids going, like I guess teachers or the lunchroom people are really terrified because so many kids are going to be coming to school hungry. And it's like y'all just have a king just installed with all this opulence, all this riches, and kids are going hungry. They're coming to school hungry. And there was a video a few weeks ago of this lunchroom lady who was in tears because she talked about what it felt like to have to take food away from children because there's no money on their card. I guess the parents put money on a card so they can have lunch. And the kids come for the lunch and pick up the lunch to go pay for it, and there's no money. And they have to take the food from the child. Imagine that. What that does to you, to take food from a hungry child. I couldn't do it. I'd be like, no, take the food. I couldn't take it. I literally could not take it from them. And so I would probably want to be one of the worst. I'd probably get fired. But I couldn't take food out of the hands of a hungry child. I couldn't do it. And so people are freaking out because of kids coming to school hungry. That's what they're saying. For the fall, that would be a thing in the UK. And again, you look at that, and one of the things that whoever the person that posted it, they had the juxtaposition with that, and also all the millions of dollars that was spent on the Queen's Jubilee. And then there's a little picture of a child who talked about they try not to eat a lot during the day. It's this very, very thin child. You know he is malnourished. All the millions that they spent on a Jubilee nobody asked for, and yet you have children that they have to sort of ration what they eat so that, they don't eat up all the food because they don't have any next day. And kids going to school hungry. And so I just, Hi. Trevor. Hi, Trevor Rodney. How are you? Trevor says, Pedal, they suck out all the popularity of the Queen's death and try to wrap themselves in it. But leopards can change his pot, and I give him 2 months. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you, Trevor. This is just, the Queen has been buried not even a week. And so, of course, they're going to have a little bit of a bounce because people are still emotional and they still have that soft spot. But yeah, as he continues, and one of the things that apparently, we've talked about it here before, Archie and Lily's titles, apparently they automatically get it based on the Georgia 6th Convention. And now Charles is looking for ways to take it away from them, and it's just like, if that is true, that's definitely not going to go over well, and so, but who knows? But you're so right. Give them a couple of months and see. And again, I didn't see the poll. I didn't see any poll. They didn't post the poll. They just said that. So who knows if that is even true? Let's see. Cinderella says, hi, Cinderella. The royal family has so much inherited wealth that they don't need taxpayer money. The government should just cut them off. Press the government. I shall press the government. But what that means. But yeah, they literally don't. They don't need any money. And you think about that, and then, according to, say the, what is it, the Pandora Papers, and what is the other papers, the one that was even before the Pandora Papers, but they are, they have not only money in the UK, but they also have they have money in tax shelters. They also have literal tax shelters, Jersey, Guernsey, we've talked about them before. That is literally, they are, those are crown-owned properties. Or at least the monarchy, or not crown, the monarchy properties, they are dependents on the crown. It's just like, and according to the MP that wrote that article that we talked about, it's like, yeah, they benefit from that. We talked about, the city of London and all that mess that's happening there. They don't need taxpayers' money. There is no reason taxpayers should be giving them money at all. If you want to claim that you're a servant and you're so dutiful and you are just all about service, use your own money and serve. Do what Harry and Meghan do. Use your own money and serve. Would you do the same work if you weren't getting taxpayer fund? Chances are no. No, they wouldn't. This will be a testament if you're really here about service. Use your own money, live on your own money, and then serve your people and see if you'll do it. And so, yeah, that's why they're so angry and afraid of the Sussexes, because the Sussexes are showing that you can do the same work, making your own money. You don't need to live on taxpayers' money. That's why they're doing everything to try to destroy them. Prudence. Hi, Prudence. Prudence said, oh, she's talking to Black Queen. She says, hi, Black Queen. Sharon, I hope everyone from homeland in Jamaica will be okay. Please stay safe from all yardies in the Caribbean. So I'm assuming it's a hurricane. So if you can let us know, if that's what it is, please pray for Jamaica and all the islands in the Caribbean, because Lord, when those things come, it hits. It hit hard. So yeah. Let's see. Julie Rock says, auction off all her outfits, complete with hats and gloves, and all the money go to charity. There's an idea. There's no reason. Honestly, I would say, yeah, absolutely. Will they? Probably not. There's no reason for them to keep it. And I would say give back all those gold and stuff like that they have for other countries. I was laughing at, someone had mentioned like all of those African in Indian and stuff leaders were in Britain. This would be the perfect time for them to grab their gold and grab all their riches and run. So it's really funny. Like, that was the closest you're gonna get to this stuff. You better take it and go. Let's see. Michael again. Hi, Michael again says they have all that abundance of wealth, but they said they didn't have enough money to put Princess of Sussex on payroll. She was an annually paid most popular working royal. Explain that. I'm telling you. The royal family have a lot to explain about that. They really do have a lot to explain about that. It's like, and that's the thing. They don't use their money on other people. If it's for them, they'll use their money on them. They do not use their money on other people. They definitely, we talked about how they treat staff and all of that stuff. And it's funny to talk about that is we talked about Angela Kelly, the Queen's dresser, how close they were and all of those stuff. And so last time we were talking about how the royal family, once that person dies, their staff dies with them. Same thing has now happened to Angela Kelly. She is apparently now being frozen out by Prince Charles, and she is like, they're not keeping her on, and so she is basically persona non grata apparently now, and it just, that's kind of how they do this. It's unreal, but I would never understand how they could have gotten away with, we don't have money to put Meghan and stuff. Like, or at least pay for Meghan. It's yes. Their money is for them, and they don't like to give, spend that on other people. They will lavish things on themselves, but they are very cheap when it comes to giving other people stuff. Masha says, well, remember, let them eat cake. Yeah, those unroyals don't give a darn about people. They don't care as long as the taxes are paid. God, I am so glad America broke loose from that crown. Hello, all of us. Yeah, they don't. It's like, let them eat cake. We have our riches. If they're hungry, give them, eat some cake. You'll be better. Yep. Unreal. Pretty face. Hello, pretty face. I haven't seen your face out here. Harry should not show any kind loyalty to Charles as a father. If he can be called one, respect is something that, if he can be called one, respect is something that you earn, and Charles has not any loyalty to Harry. Yeah, that has been the case, right? We've known this. It's not been a father, really, like you said. If he could be called one, you're right, he can't be called one. And yeah, Charles he's done so many horrible things to Harry, and it's just like, other than if you're a royal reporter sitting there and paid to really prop up the monarchy, I don't see how anyone could expect Harry to have. And, it's like, you always want to have respect for your parents, no matter what, right? I think it's inherent in us that we always would want, it's a parent, it's somebody that, birthed you, or someone that was, part of birthing you. And you always want to have respect. So there's that thing in you that you feel like you owe them respect. But then you see something, the way Charles has treated Harry really his whole life. How do you respect that? How do you respect? And, people were like, oh, Harry wasn't singing the national anthem. And, obviously it's that God Save the King, which I'm like, y'all should be ashamed of yourself that in 2022, you're still singing God Save the King. Shouldn't it be God Save the People of the UK? It's like, shame on y'all for not protesting for them to change this national anthem. That's on a side note. But the people were like, Harry wasn't singing. It's like, how do you sing that? when literally in real time for the last 3 weeks your father has done everything to humiliate, to belittle, to treat you in the worst way. Like, how do you respect that? How do you respect? Like, I don't even know how you begin. So he definitely hasn't shown loyalty to Harry. I mean, I'm telling you, if Harry would today say, I am cutting all ties with y'all, I'm taking my family off, I'm taking my family off the line of, if he were to do all of that, I'd be like, Harry, God bless you. May the Lord go with you in peace. Because I wouldn't want to be anywhere close to those people. I really, really wouldn't. And thank you, Elaine. She said it's called the civil list. Yeah. So the civil list was what for example, now it's called the sovereign grant. So it was called the civil list before. So they changed the name to the sovereign grant, and they may have done it a little bit different back then when they the taxes that go towards the royal family. Again, now it's called the sovereign grant. Back then it was called the civil list. And so thank you so much, Elaine, for that. And again, I love the fact that we have a very, very, very informed community that can help me with this stuff. Thank you guys that educate each other. Not that I educate anyone, but I think I know a little bit. And so I am glad that we have a community that we really can teach each other stuff. So I am grateful for that. Thank you. Joy Bell says, why didn't he tell Harry's father to show loyalty to Harry and Meghan and allow him to wear his military uniform? And, it's so funny with this, because I just read today, there was one of our squaddies had clipped these different articles just about the women, how they refer to women in the royal family. And they refer to them, that they have their pants in the house, and they wear the pants in their house, and they, the strong woman in the family, whatever. But then how, you look at that and how they, when they look at Meghan, they never refer to the men in those relationships as they refer to Harry. They try to put Harry down, like, Meghan is, basically lords it over him and all of those things. So one of the articles, it talks about when they were doing the funeral, how Princess Anne, when you look at her military uniform, it had all of these medals and ropes and all of these things. And her husband, who actually served in I think he was in the Marines or something, he was wearing this simple uniform with just probably a few medals. And it is just the kind of things that the royal family do. It's just, it makes you, you're like, are you serious? What army was, or what military, organization, whatever, has Princess Anne ever been in? What war has she fought in? Where did she get all those medals and ropes and all the things that she had on her? Or lanyard, whatever you call them. I don't know. It just looks like a rope to me. I don't know. I don't know military things. But she has all this stuff on her. But her husband, who literally was in the armed forces, he's wearing this, few medals and very simple thing. And I look at that in the same, and not that it relates to this in this exact way, but it's kind of like, they don't seem to understand, or they don't understand. They don't seem to care that, when they don't seem to care about people who actually serve their country, and they don't honor them. If they're in the royal family, they get to, or at least on their good side, they get to wear all these stuff. And if they are born royal, they get all to wear all these medals that they don't deserve and they didn't earn. But someone who is on the outside, not outside, but at least they can look like it, on the outside, who has left, say, the royal household, and not working for them has to wear a suit and a few medals. And then, again, even looking at Princess Anne's husband, he has to just dress up in these, tiny little medals or whatever. And she gets to wear all that stuff to make her look like she. And it's just, the royal family is just, it's unreal to me that they do this stuff. And again, I may have just confused this whole thing, but it just kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, they don't show, they're not loyal to anybody. They really aren't. If you're not in the circle that they can control, they're not loyal to you. I mean, again, look at how they treat their staff. Some of them have worked there for decades. As soon as that person is out, so are you. Whether you have money or not, too bad. You're gone, and they've moved on. It is brutal. And they treat people, as we're seeing with Harry, they're treating him as one of their staff. It's like, okay, we can't control you, and you've left, so okay. You can't wear the uniform. You can't wear. And it's just like unreal. And you would have you would have thought after the first day when you saw Harry in that suit and they all look like his bodyguards, they would get the message, but they still didn't. They just continue doing it. And they're not going to change. They're just not going to change. Let's see. Ladybird says, hi, Ladybird. Ladybird says, Charles, is not really about sizing down the monarchy. This is something else. What else do you think it is? It's not. What do you think it is, Ladybird? Please share with us. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Charles is like this. I look at him as kind of like Trump. It's like this wannabe dictator. That it's. Tell us, Ladybird, what do you think? Julie Rock says, why doesn't Chuck and his bride live in a stable? What do you mean? What do you mean, Julie Rock? Let us know. Let's see. Karen says, when he opened his home to tourists, the money raised go to the royal family, not to help people. If so, a very small amount. Do not trust Charles. Everything he do is to benefit him. That's why he does it. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with this. That is absolutely true. If they don't if they're not getting some kind of benefit out of something, they're not going to do it. So again, that is the difference. And that's why they're trying to shut down Harry and Meghan. Why? Because Harry and Meghan are proving you can do the exact work they're doing and better without taking taxpayers' money. So yes. Did anyone see Jasmine's Blues? I have not seen it yet, Adrian. Thank you. And that is Tyler Perry's movie that is on, is it on Netflix? It is on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, which actually just my Netflix, I kind of let it go away. So I'm going to bring it back. But I have not seen it. So if anyone has, let Adrian know or at least share what I heard it's really good. So definitely. And definitely support Tyler Perry. I mean, gosh, Tyler Perry. Oh, he had this really great quote. I think it's something an advice that was given to him that he passed on to someone, because a lot of people have been really upset because of all the stuff going on and all the attacks on Harry and Meghan, that they're not suing people. They're not suing those horrible book people. They're not suing. And a lot of people are like, why aren't they suing? Why aren't they suing? Then it must be true if they're not suing. And a lot of squatties have kind of apparently, like I haven't seen, but I'm seeing tweets about some squatties who are very upset that Harry and Meghan are not suing the reporters or those horrible book writers for the lies that they're spreading in their books and whatever, or in their articles. And so Tyler Perry talked, he saw, I think it was, oh shoot. Who did he say it's from? I don't remember who it was from, but The advice was, if if a dog barks at the moon, nobody cares. But if the moon were to bark back at the dog, then everybody would be like, whoa, and everybody would care because, the moon is way up there, is barking back at the dog. And the point of that is, he was saying, it's like when you have a platform as he has, it's a big platform. When you have a microphone and you have, in terms of, say, a big platform, if someone is saying nasty things about you, people may not notice. But if you were to respond to that person, guess what happens? Everybody notices. And so that is hitting down. And you don't ever want to hit down. You don't want to punch down. Because one, everybody will notice. And guess what? You are up there. Whose side are they going to take if you punch down? They're going to take the person who's beneath you, because, or not beneath you, or at least have a lower, a smaller platform than yours, so you don't ever punch down. What you do instead of punching down is focus on what you are doing. Focus on just let them bark at the moon. But you, as the moon, don't pay attention to them. Just focus on what you're doing. And that is why, and again, even if you were to sue, all you're doing is to give that person attention that they're looking for. That's the reason why they're barking at you all the time. They want your attention. And if you were to sue them, one, you could lose. Two, you give them the attention that they want, you can lose. You spend all this money and you gain very little in return. It's not worth your time. So unless it's, for example, when Meghan sued the Daily Mail, she could have sued the person who wrote that article. She could have sued those, but she didn't. What she did was she went for the top. She sued the company, because the company those are the people with, control. Those are the power that controls the press, right? And so for the people who are upset that Harry and Meghan are, not suing, it's like, no, you don't want to punch down. You just focus on, and that was Tyler Perry's, advice. You focus on what you're doing and do whatever you're doing, and let them bark if they want to. So, yeah. But again, go see Jasmine Blues. He talked again a little bit about, just the love Harry and Meghan have for each other. So that's good. Let's just them keep that love, and that keeps flourishing. So yeah. Veronica says, I've never seen the British Royals at that Hillsborough Castle. Oh, okay. She's never seen. Is it open for people as well, Veronica? I'm assuming you're in Northern Ireland, so let us know. Is it a museum as well or whatever? Do they ever use it when they come? So let us know. Whitland again. Hi, Whitland. She says, notice, Dubel, the royal family can never show tangible physical proof of what they actually done through their supposedly charitable efforts. The question is how was the money actually used? Wink. Yeah, that is very true. Although I don't know if Prince Charles is, to get his, what exactly. The only thing I could say for exactly like the Princess Trust is that, for example, like Idris Elba and stuff like that, these are people, literal people that money was, they took money, the trust funded them when they were like young actors and young actresses to what, they funded their art and they were able to, grow to what they are now. Hence, one of the reasons Idris Elba was one of the people that wrote, along when Prince Charles guest edited The Voice. Idris Elba was one of the people that Prince Charles's charity helped. So there are a few tangibles like those where literally they funded, people's creative aspirations, and they have gone on to, I don't know exactly how much was, given to say Idris Elba or whatever, but there are few of those actors like that. There are few of those people in the UK that, yes. So whenever Prince Charles need to let people know, see, I'm not racist, you'll see those people, that he uses them to to share that what the Princess Trust has helped, how the Princess Trust has helped them. So yeah, but for example, say the ones that that's already established, that they didn't establish, and they go and they do these events, like for example, Princess Anne, she's like the most active one of all of them, and people always praise all of her work. I have yet to see anything tangible that has come out of all of Princess Anne's efforts. Maybe I just don't pay attention. I need to go in and pay more attention to what she does. But, she will do like a ton of events a day. And it's like, okay, but what it seems like, he's like, go and shake hands here and have a dinner here and say a speech here, whatever. But you're right. There's no tangible okay, so what exactly was your contribution to this? And if you were to look at reports, there's an article that talks about charities don't really benefit from royal patronages. They really don't. And a lot of time it costs them, because a lot of times they go, especially they visit the charity, then the charity has to do all the stuff and get security and all of that stuff. They end up, having to pay all that stuff and not get much in return for having a royal patron. So they probably just, not waste their time. But I guess, when they have a royal patron, they get a little bit of publicity for a day. The tabloids, which a lot of times the tabloids, if they're the ones, the Rota, which is mostly tabloids, they would mostly write about Kate's outfit. So the charity really, even in terms of publicity, they don't really get much of that. It's usually about Kate or William's, their outfit and whatever they're doing. So yeah. And then you get a few pictures of cute kids or something. So there's not much in the way of actual, tangible evidence. No. Trevor Rodney. Hi, Trevor. Trevor says, I don't want Harry to go to the coronation. I'm with you. I'm so done. Again, Harry is, he's one of them. He's a royal, and he might feel like, okay, this is my dad, but it's very interesting in his statement, isn't it? When he did the statement for the Queen, he mentioned his father. He honors his father as the king. He didn't mention Camilla. And so, I don't know. I would, I don't know. I'd like Harry to stay away myself. But then again, that's just me. I don't have that big attachments so. And maybe he probably will feel like obligated, because again, it is his father. We all have different relationships with them, even when we're angry with them. So yeah, and who knows? And maybe, some people were saying that maybe Charles is holding the HR. I don't know. This might not even be that he's holding those HRH, and one of the conditions is that Harry shows up at his coronation, so so he can insult him again, so he can feel like a big man. Petty. Lydia's like, I agree, but I'm pretty sure he will, Trevor Rodney. Yeah, I feel the same. I absolutely feel the same. I think he will go if he's invited. Who knows where their relationship would be by then, but if he is invited to come, I'm sure he will be there. Not I'm sure, but I'm thinking he'll be there. Let's see. Wendy Lohman. Hi, Wendy. Wendy says the royals are angry about Duchess Meghan was not going to play wifey game of put up and shut up. Yeah. I think a lot of the issues there has been exactly that she spoke up, and she spoke up for herself. And, with the very misogynistic culture that's in the royal family, or at least the royal household, that I'm sure did not go over well. That did not go over well at all. And and it's always been, I don't know if you guys have thought about it. I'm sure you have. I've always wondered why why Kate, or why, I know, a lot of it Camilla pulled on herself because of what she, her actions were. But I don't understand why you don't speak up for yourself. Why you don't, I don't relate to people just coming at you and you just have to stay silent. Meghan had to do it, but that within she couldn't, with the press, but within, did she ever put up any kind of a fight, to at least to be able to have a voice inside? And again, who knows? Maybe she did, and we just don't know. But it didn't seem that way. Audrey, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. So, but yeah, let's see, a couple more. Lady Bird says Meghan was criticized for writing her own speech. I mean, can you imagine the level of, yes. It's, the royal family infantilizes everyone there. And I think that's probably one of the things that was probably shocked them to the core, that Meghan was an able person that did not need people writing speeches for her. They can't deal with that stuff. And so absolutely, they are used to being the one to write the speech, to do all the stuff, and they're not used to someone who can do her own research, write her own speech, because that means she's independent, and they need people to be needy. They need people to be infants so that they can groom them and train them. And it's like Meghan is like, no, I am a fully formed woman. I don't need to be groomed and trained. I have a mind, I could think. The royal family don't like that. They don't like that. And so, yeah. Let's see. Shirley. Hi, Shirley Slaughter. I haven't seen you here before. It's interesting. Very, shall we say, I don't know. I could hear that name, Shirley Slaughter, as a movie star name or something. A movie character name, Shirley Slaughter. Says they wanted her to keep her mouth shut and take abuse. Harry said no and got her out of there. Both are being punished for standing up for themselves. Yeah, exactly. The British culture does not like, and it's weird, right? When you watch women who really subscribe to this as well. They're like, but Camilla took it and Kate took it and they're fine. And it's like, but why should anybody have to take abuse? Why are you abusing people to begin with? And why should anybody put up with abuse? I don't care what it is. Yes, Camilla did her stuff and whatever, but she could stand up and say, no, I'm not taking this abuse from you. And stand up and speak up for herself. Or even say, Kate, I mean, again, I'm not here for either one of these women, but stand up and say something. But they don't like that. That whole culture is like, I need to beat you into submission, and you can't say anything, because if you say anything, that means you're attacking me. And it's such a narcissistic culture. It's just so ingrained in them with that. And even women are like, it's like, well, if I stick it out, then maybe they'll take, like, Christina Oxenberg was saying, if Meghan only sticks it out, the next person come around, they will take the heat of her. I'm like, you want someone else to come into this family and take abuse? And it's kind of like, it's sort of like they didn't even think about it. Like, it's unreal. And this talk about the same person the other day that I had to correct with that Camilla lie. She literally tweeted, she can't wait for the press. She can't wait for the spotlight to go off Meghan. She can't wait for George and Charlotte to grow up so the press spotlight will go on them instead of Meghan. And I was like, I have to mute this woman because I can't. I was like, I just can't. I tweeted back, I'm like, are you crazy? Tell me you really don't want the press spotlight to be on these children. I was like, are you serious? You are wishing this abuse be on two kids? And I don't care that they're, the Cambridges, these are kids. Why would you wish what happened to Meghan on anybody? I wouldn't even wish that on Kate. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I wouldn't wish this abuse on anybody, because I don't care. I don't care. Nobody deserves to be treated like this. And for her to be even wishing this on two kids, I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, I got to mute you because I just can't. This is abuse. No one deserves this kind of abuse. No one. And so it's just like, I'm like, girl, Like, people are crazy. Let's see. Lady Bird says, "What's the need for abusing family members? They haze. It's their hazing ritual for fun. It's how they have their kicks. It's how they get their kicks. And it's not just hating family members, female family members who marry into the royal family. If you notice, after Meghan has come, after Meghan married Harry, there have been two men that married into that family, Beatrice and Eugenie's husbands. Have you heard anything from Beatrice's husband or anything about Beatrice's husband or Eugenie, other than the time when they when they claim he was canoodling with models in Italy when they needed to cover for, Charles's cash for access mess? That's the only time you really will hear about Eugenie's husband. This is how they treat women. And so for me, this whole thing is not, just Meghan issue. This is how the royal family treat women, period. They do not respect women. They do not protect women. They abuse women. And it seems the women in there just sort of accepted it. And that's why Christina Uxenberg could, be so flippant about, oh, Meghan, just weather it out. Just stick around long enough. The next person come around, they're going to shift it and they're going to abuse them instead of you. And she was perfectly fine with it. It's like it hasn't dawned on her that that is abuse. You don't treat people in this way. It's like it hasn't dawned on them. And again, she was talking also too about, they were just doing it in fun and games. And it's like, to them, this is sport. I always talk about the fact that this is a brutal culture. It is literally like you go back to back in Roman times, and it's like those Colosseums where they would feed people to animals for sport. This is the culture that's there. It's a game to them. The fact that they could see what Charles have done to Harry and Meghan, just if you didn't know anything about what was happening before, and you saw how they treated Harry and Meghan when they were they're in the UK to mourn their grandmother, all you had to see was how the royal family and the press treated them. And then you could hear today royal reporters are saying, oh, Harry, no, you have to come back to your family. What can we do to lure you back? And it's almost like they have no concept of the devastating and the damage they did the last 2 weeks. Because the damage they did, that was just sport for them. It was just a game. There is no heart there. There's no empathy. There's no compassion. There's none of that. Again, the UK, the royal family, they are very long on pomp and circumstance and pageantry, and very, very, very short on humanity. They have none. So the abuse that they give out to people, that's just a sport to them. It's how they have their kicks. Let's see. Going on, let's see. Joyce, I don't think I clicked on you today. Joyce says, we really don't know the kind of abuse that Meghan had to take. Reading UK press is one thing. Ring behind those doors and the abuse given out is another thing. Oh my goodness. If they're so comfortable doing what they do in public, yeah, I totally agree with you, Joyce. One can only imagine what goes on. Look at what they were okay to let the world see. During the Queen's death, her funeral, look at what they were okay to let the world see. They were totally fine to let the world see that. Lady Bird says, hazing new family members? What is wrong with these people? Well, Louise just answered it. Sadistic culture. Yeah. It is sadistic. It is absolutely sadistic. Let's see. Angela says, like Harry says in the Me You Can See, stop the cycle of abuse. Yeah. And again, a lot of times stopping that side, it means just cutting off and moving. You can love people from afar. Like, I love you, but I can't be around you. And I have to completely change my mindset about abuse. And let's see, Cookies and Cream, our other moderator. Hi, awesome moderator, Cookies and Cream. She says, it is a warped mentality to think that being subjected to any kind of abuse is okay. Yeah. And it seems that is the culture. That's what they've groomed people to believe, that it's okay to be abused. And if you're abused by a parent, you still have to bow down to that parent. And it's just like, no. It's just, yeah. It is really, really warped. And it's like people are angry at you if you say no. If you're like, how many people in the UK have been like, really angry at Meghan for cutting off her father and cutting off that whole plan? How many people have attacked her for just putting up a boundary and said, no, you cannot cross. You will not be in my life. It's like they can't imagine, even after all the abuse this man has put out on his daughter, they can't imagine that Meghan will say, no, I'm cutting you off. You will not have a part of my life. You will not abuse me. You will not insult me. You will not disrespect me and have a place in my life. They can't fathom it. It's always, but it's your dad. And it's like, no. And so there's got to be like a whole teaching, I guess, a whole mindset change, especially in the UK about this, because I don't understand how you can put up with this behavior and it'd be okay. Dana Shekel says Meghan was not a blank canvas, and being in a senior position was a shocker to the palace. Yeah. And, again, you look at Princess Diana, she's a young girl. And it was all about, they thought they could shape her. And, we see what happened there. Let's see. Amy Andrews. Hi, Amy. Amy says, without women, there's no royal family. They have the real power during the hereditary line, and they abuse them. Yeah, and the ones that are there don't seem to realize that they're the power, and to use that power and not put up with the nonsense, not put up with, whether it's the cheating, whether, they always talk about that Windsor behavior of like cheating on their wives, and basically, the wives basically, from the Queen down, they just sort of put up with it and they just sort of accept it, even though they have the power. And it's just like, you know what? Y'all need to use the power you got. So no, yeah, I totally agree. Because, you think about, if the crop of women that still remain there don't do something, the sad part is the little ones coming up, the same thing is going to happen to them. People look at them now and they're like these cute little kids, especially like, say, Charlotte, who is one of the most intuitive of all. If you look at her, it's like you could see it, and it's like she looks like an old soul, and it's like, if they don't do something within that culture to change it, exactly what happened to, say, Kate, when she, some of the things they were saying about Kate is true, honestly. But some of the things were just insulting to women. It's a misogynistic culture. And so some of those things she shouldn't put up with as a woman. But if they don't address those things now, well, that's exactly what's going to happen to Charlotte and all the other little ones coming up, because nothing is going to change. Unreal. Let's see. A few more. Oh, Nash is driving. Drive safely, Nash. Drive safely. But I'm happy you're listening. But, safe travels to wherever it is you're going. Adrian says, Harry was already paid for the book. I guess so. They always get an advance. Don't they get money after the book comes out, or do they get all of the money when the book comes out? Do they get like a back end of that? I don't know how that publishing works in that way. So I would assume, if the book does really, really great, they do. I would assume they get some money in the back end too. I guess. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. I have never looked into it. So, but yeah, I think he did. Obviously get an advance for that. So yeah. And I think part of the advance, I think he also donated part of the advance, if I'm not mistaken, to Sentebale. So, yeah. Let's see. A couple more before we jet out of here. Oh, Baron starts soon. So, yeah, let's jet out of here. Baron starts soon. So we'll jump over and hang out with Baron for a bit. Thank you, Lydia. Let's see, one more before we go. And oh wait, no, Baron just changed to 5:30. Oh, thank you, Lydia, for the up-to-date Baron watch. Because it's funny, because I always like to check to make sure, like, what time to make sure. So before I book mine, because he usually books his before mine. So sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong. So yeah. We're not talking about nasty book people at all. So yeah. Let's see. Sorry, guys, not talking about nasty book people. I'm not giving them any kind of air at all. So, Joan Garcia, hi, Joan. Joan says, I think those mean-spirited mouthpieces are saying everything they can to hurt and embarrass Meghan and Harry. Yeah, that's very clear. Yeah, absolutely. What they're trying to do is hurt their brand. Hurt their brand so that people would not hire them or work with them. They're doing everything in their power, and that is one of the reasons that is so important when things are becoming that way, whether it's a nasty book person or the press or whatever. That's why it's so important that Harry and Meghan don't respond to it, because they want to elevate themselves. One, they want other people to join it, and that's one of the reasons I even tweeted on Twitter. I even tweeted about it. I'm like, I hope that the Sussex squad, that we are minding our own business and that we are not selling people's book for them. Because what they're counting on is that the squad would be outraged by all the nasty stuff that they're doing, that we would be so outraged that we'd be tweeting about it and tweeting about their nasty books, so that they can have engagement. And the more engagement they have, the more people are attracted to it, and the more people would be attracted to their books. So that is one of the reasons I refuse to engage. I refuse to do it. And again, that's why Tyler Perry's advice was so important. The Sussexes will not punch down. If they are going to sue somebody, it's not going to be a person. It will be an organization. For example, they will sue Rupert Murdoch's News Corp. They will sue, A&L, who is the parent company of the Daily Mail and Mail Online and stuff like that. They will not punch down. They will sue those people. Then they will not sue individual people, because there's no profit. There's no win in that situation. Unfortunately, there are going to be people that will believe their nastiness. That's the rest. And when you look at some of the things they say about Sussexes, even some of those things are, yes, they're probably a lie, they're whatever. They're not actionable in court anyway. So what's the point? Sometimes that's the thing. When you're a public figure, that's one of the things that goes along with it. Unfortunately, is it right? No. It sucks, to be honest. It is unfair. It is horrible. It is disgusting. I mean, pick an adjective. But unfortunately, with free speech, yeah, that's what we got. Let's see. I would say GB News is something if I was a squatty, I'll just completely avoid. There's no point to again, when we watch it, we give it views that keeps it on the air. When we engage in it on Twitter, that's what they want. I mean, I think I talked about that, a lot of the people on that channel, it's not getting a lot of views, I don't think. And so what they're doing is that a lot of their presenters are saying the most ridiculous things on Twitter. That's why I blocked all of them. They're saying the most ridiculous things on Twitter. Why? They just want to get engagement. They don't care if you like it, don't like it, agree with it, don't agree with it. They don't care as long as you engage with it. That's all they care about. A lot of times what royal reporters do is that they mute the majority of the squad. They will put the most ridiculous things out there, the most nasty things. What they want is for you to engage with it. A lot of them don't even see your response. So you can respond and say, how wrong they are, and you could be pouring your heart out. A lot of them don't even see it. They've already muted you. They get your engagement. They just don't get to see whatever it is you're saying because they don't care. The point is not to read your whether you like it or not like it. The point is that you engage with it, because a lot of times they get paid by engagement. So don't engage with it. And so, yeah. And that's one of the reasons, like, I just avoid any nasty book people. You will not profit from my outrage. You will, and again, that's the other thing. Profiting from our outrage, profiting from our pain. It's unfortunate. This woman is a Black woman, Nana Akura, whatever her name is. She's a Black woman. And unfortunately, there are some of us that are like that. We profit off of each other's pain for money. This is a white organization that's paying her to slag off, she goes after Meghan all the time. It's just, yeah. We have some of those among us, unfortunately. So, yeah. Pamela says, Pamela Melissa Davis. Hi, Pamela. Says, Pamela goes back centuries when British were colonial masters. The upper class, including women, had to be seen and not show their emotions. It was deemed weak and infantile to be seen crying. And you know what? You're right. That culture still exists. I don't know if you're not on Twitter, you probably haven't seen it. One of the things that happened with the funeral is the BBC allowed, and I guess other channels allowed the royal family. They allowed them editing. They had, I guess, they had to approve or disapprove some of the editing that went on with the funeral. So there are things that the royal family, Buckingham Palace, wanted or at least demanded to be edited out of the funeral. And some of the, and I love French people because they really just don't care about the Buckingham Palace. And so all the things that Buckingham Palace wanted edited out, there's a French channel that put all of it in there and mocked them. It's just like, I didn't even understand because I don't understand French, and I didn't even understand what he was saying. But he was mocking them. And some of the things that they wanted edited out was Edward crying, and he was wiping his face with a very large hanky. Sophie crying, they edited that out. And then the other one was George, and it looks like he was scratching his nose. I mean, I don't know, maybe he was crying, I don't know. But they wanted those things edited out. And it was just like the things that show human emotion, they didn't want in there. And it's just like, are you serious? And so I agree. I totally see this. They saw the crying as weak, I guess. Because why would you? I mean, it's a funeral. Why wouldn't you want human emotion? And it's unreal. They had asked them to edit out. So this French channel kept in, there are other things that they wanted edited out. And if you had a close-up of the Queen's coffin and the flowers on there was a spider that was crawling from one of the flowers to it was a clip on Twitter, and the spider was crawling on, I think, like a card and then the plants, and so they had that edited out. And you think it's like, that's just a moment, the spider. Leave the spider alone. And then there was another part where the girls, Beatrice and Eugenie, I guess, were leaving early, I guess. And so they had that. I mean, that I could understand. You don't want, because there was a little bit of an interruption. So I can understand that part. But the human emotions part, it's like, why would you want that edited out of a funeral? So unfortunately, some people, I guess, acquiesce to that. So I guess it's just unreal. Let's see. Beverly Isidore says Prince Harry loves his father, and once they invite him, he will go to the coronation. Yeah, I honestly, I would say you're right. I would think you're right as well. I think he will go. And now, if I was Meghan, I'd be like, dude, you're on your own. I love you. I had to put up with these people for the funeral. You're on your own for this one. I'd be like, But Meghan loves her husband, and she will go and support him. So if he does, I'd be like, no, I'm not going back to that country. Those people are awful. I'm not going. But I mean, not all of them. I mean, obviously, there are wonderful people in the UK, and wonderful people that met Meghan and love her. But there's that section that is just the nastiness is just so beyond. Yeah. So let's see. Let's see. Pamela says, hence the women in the royal and upper class seem oppressed and with misogyny and hatred. It's hard to be happy when you're dealing with that. It's hard to be. That's why a lot of them just look depressed. That's like the resting face for royals. That depressed look. It's just miserable, and I don't know how you live with that. I don't know how you put up with that. So I guess the titles are worth it. I guess. I don't know. Lavertha, hi Lavertha says, did they really expect Harry to toe the line? Yes. Wasn't that why they liked him before Meghan? they I'm like, they want what they want. You know what I mean? I guess they want Harry they want that drunk Harry falling out of a, club and whatever. And, he told the line in terms of, not like leaving and completely rejecting that. In that sense, he told the line. But within that, he was crazy. He was that party prince, and that they could accept that because it gives them fodder for their tabloids, right? But they can't accept the one that completely rejects that, because then it rejects something that they hold dear and they make money off of, and then it makes them look like they're wrong, and they just can't handle that. So yeah. Kim Coates. Hi, Kim Coates. Kim said, oh, she's talking to Cookies and Cream. The sense of entitlement and supremacy will not get Harry back. Expect Charles to do something worse. Watch him take back Frogmore. It's so funny. Yeah, would I be surprised? No, of course not. I mean, in that case, because Harry and Meghan paid for it, they would have to, I would think, have to compensate Harry if they want to. But Charles is petty. He is that petty. And so, I mean, I know they had renewed their lease, I guess, for a year. So I wouldn't be surprised if they want to take it back because Charles wants to punish Harry. He is that petty. So yeah, would I be shocked? I don't think anyone here would be shocked. So yeah. Again, I am all for Harry just like deuces, people. I am out. I am off of that. And if he wants to, be visiting the UK, get another house. You don't need to, you don't have to, and I understand being in Great Windsor Park because you have the security, you have the ready security right there. So, so it's a lot more secure. But at this point, it's like, do you really want to do you really want the hassle of that and dealing with that all the time? That's something, I'm sure they're talking about. So, but again, I'm not surprised if Charles, that would be the least surprising thing, right? Let's see. Gwendolyn agrees. Gwendolyn says, oh, she told Diane, Harry and Meghan need to dump that place. Hey, look. Lydia is that same thing. She's saying the same thing. No renewal of the lease, I hope. One can only hope. One can only hope. Let's see. Going down. John says if you'd ask him, he has to reimburse him for renovation costs. Plus, Harry has a legal lease on the house. Is owned by the Crown Estate, not Charles. Yeah, but again, even house owned by the Crown Estate, I'm sure Charles has some pull as the king, has some pull over there. And a lot of those people are royalists. They will bow. They will totally bow, and do so. I mean, yeah, I would think they would need to reimburse Harry his $2.4 million for that he paid for those renovations. Yeah, absolutely. And if not, if I were Harry, I would sue them to get my money back, because they're going to be renting that house to someone who's benefiting from Harry's money. I would definitely take that back. Sharon Augustine. Hi, Sharon says, thank you for only talking about Harry's book. Don't talk about no other people who is bad-mouthing Harry and Meghan. Yeah, no, we're not giving them any press. We're not giving them any air. Let's see. Adrian says, Royal Rhoda tried to say Diana had all these men, which wasn't true. Some of them ended up divorced. But they wanted to hurt Diana's reputation because Charles wouldn't give up Camilla. Diana had all these men, which wasn't true. Some of them ended up divorced because they wanted to hurt Diana's reputation because Charles wouldn't give up Camilla. I'm not sure I understand. Explain. I'm not sure I fully get what you're saying, Adrian. So explain. Let's see. Mercedes says, now if Harry would just do with his family what Meghan has done with hers, everything would be okay. Love them from a distance. I'm telling you, isn't that weird how Meghan and Harry ended up with two of just the worst set of family? Like, I don't know how two people totally love each other and end up with just the worst families in the world. It's just like, what on earth? I just that's like a 1 in a million thing. It's like, it's one thing you end up with one set of family that's just really awful, but to end up with both sides that you really have every legitimate reason to cut them both off. Like, how is that? I don't even know how they ended up like that. That is crazy. Joy says Tyler Perry remarks gives credibility to Harry and Meghan's brand. Tyler is bigger than any of the UK press at this time. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's good that Harry and Meghan, the people that they are choosing to associate themselves with. I mean, again, Harry has and I'm so glad that his charities and the organizations that he's founded are not under the royal brand, because he has a life outside the royal family. He's had a life outside them. I mean, in the military, dealing with Invictus, with with all of his other charities, that none of them are under the royal brand. At least, a couple of them were, but then they left. And so he has a life and a reputation that is outside of the royal family. And obviously, Meghan has had 30 when she met Harry, 34, 35, whatever age she was. She has a whole life outside of that. And so I am really happy that they have that other people can vouch for them that has nothing to do with the royal family. That Meghan has had a life before and then now a life after. And, both her and Harry, that people apart from the royal family can vouch for their character and who they are as people. When you think of William and Kate, they have, if that were to happen to them, their whole life is pretty much the royals. They have nothing outside of that. And I think that's why they were able to do what they did to Princess Diana. And even though she was definitely desperately trying to break away from them, but she didn't have the lived life as, say, Meghan. She didn't have that, so they basically could control her own whole narrative. They can't do the same with Meghan. And I think that has been their frustration, that they can't, they are desperately trying to get the Sussex squad to separate. And again, that's how these creatures, that's how animals kill. When you look at, say, a lion or, whatever, when they're out in the wild and they're killed, what they do is they try to separate their prey from the pack, right? And then when their prey is alone, that's when they kill. And so they separate, they try to separate and try to shape their character to a way where everybody that loved them and know them would separate from them so that they can go in for the kill. And so, again, that's why it's so important that Harry and Meghan have their life experience outside of the royal family. That people can be like, no, I worked with them. I know who they are. I'm not taking your word for it. Let's see more. And as we're going on, if you're here and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do go ahead and click on the like, click the subscribe button and that notification bell so you know that we drop when we drop a video. And while you're here, please like the video. We have almost 700 people hanging out with us. Ooh, our awesome 700 friends. Hi, guys. And so if you haven't done that, please go ahead and click it, the like button, and please share our episode with your friends and family. And also you can join our channel. So thank you guys who have already joined. But let's look at a couple more before we go. And yes, this is absolutely true. They are gutter, and definitely are. Let's see. Wendy Loman says the UK press know when Harry and Meghan are not in the UK, their money dwindles. Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. Yep, absolutely. I mean, Charles, the royal family may try, to absolutely destroy them, but, the press are going to go so far with that. But they know if they know, even though they're trying to destroy them and trying to, destroy their credibility and all of those things, they still want to use them for fodder because that's where they have their money. It's weird and wild that they do stuff like this. It's like a whole culture that buys into that stuff. Let's see. Yeah, Trevor says Harry's book will hit #1. Yeah, I think with all of us squaddies waiting for that thing, oh my goodness. Those poor Amazon people that have to deal with us, because we will descend. That site might be going down. Us trying to get the first, the first copies, or if you're getting hardcover or just buying it online. I'm like, I cannot wait. Oh, hang on one second. Let's get rid of that. Leslie Ann Hector. Hi, Leslie Ann. Leslie Ann says, if Charles take away Harry and Meghan's title, I guarantee the Commonwealth will also be going away with them. Oh, I didn't know that was an issue too. I mean, I was thinking they were saying that about Lilibet and Archie's titles. But I mean, I don't think he can take away. The Queen gave them their titles, so I don't think Charles can take it away. At least I don't know. I don't think. But even if he does, I mean, Harry's a prince. You can't take away a born princess title. That's his title that he's born with. And then Meghan will just be Princess Meghan. So I'd rather Princess Meghan anyway. So yeah. But yeah, I don't. At least I don't. At least what I saw, like, I don't think they could take away their titles. I mean, they still have their HRH. They said that, they promised not to use it. They don't use it. They still have it. But I doubt he can take it away. So, but again, if he does, so what? We know them as Harry and Meghan in the US anyway. We don't sit around and be like, oh, Duchess of Sussex. No, it's Harry and Meghan. Let's see. Let's see. some more before we jet out. Maverick, I hadn't say hi to you today. Maverick, how are you? Maverick says, I hope Meghan and Harry become billionaires and don't have to ever go back to those dusty, musty castles. You know, Maverick, it's so funny. It's like they're the two people that I really, really, really want to be. And I think we're all in the same boat. We just want them to be able to be in a place where they never, ever, 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 ever feel like they need to go back, especially for financial reasons. I mean, they're fine. They are independently wealthy now. But it's one of those, it's like you really, really, I think all squatties probably feel this way. Beside myself becoming a billionaire, those are the two I want to be billionaires. Just so that they don't ever have to go back there, you know? So I totally feel in that one. And Pretty Face, yes, absolutely. Anne's first husband was also a military man as well. And Anne never served anyway. And which is what I was saying, you know, if you looked at the photos of what they were wearing for the funeral, you know, she decorated and all this stuff. And he's just very simple. You're like, what? You know, talk about stolen, you know, like goodness. Let's see. Melissa says, how is Camilla involved with Abused Women Charity when she seemed to embrace the British royal family's women to be abused? How does that make any sense? No, Melissa, that's exactly, I know. It makes absolutely no sense. They're all there watching a woman be abused. They have, and yes, she is out here for abused women. And it makes no sense at all. None. That's why the whole royal family, it makes absolutely no sense. It just, let's see. Wendy says, I'm not a fan of Don Lemon. I heard he is demoted to the morning's time slot going forward. Yes, exactly. That's what we were talking about. Yeah. He is now, I guess, co-hosting with a couple of other women. So yeah, you know, down from his own show. So yeah. Let's see. Coco Ambrose. Hello, Coco Ambrose. Another name that's like a character in a movie. And never accepted that, according to protocol, she was supposed to bow to Diana. Oh, really? So QE2 changed the protocol so she doesn't have to bow to Camilla or the married-ins when accompanied by her husband. Oh, when accompanied by husbands. Oh, okay. I mean, I would hope not. I'm totally in agreement with this. I mean, she is the queen's daughter. I never understood this bowing thing to begin with. I am so not into bowing to people or curtsy, any of that nonsense. But if she is the queen's daughter, I don't see why she should be bowing to Camilla or anybody. You know, I love Diana, but even to Diana. Because, you know, she is the, you know, what is she, the second born? Or the third born? What is she? Is she older than that? Yeah, she's older than that. So she's the second born. I don't see why she should be bowing into anyone, you know, coming, you know, whether it's coming into the marriage or the family or, you know, I'm in totally agreement with this. I am totally fine with her not bowing to. It's like, yeah, no, she's the queen's daughter. Why should she? So Charles doesn't bow to them. I mean, even though he's the heir, so why should she have to? He doesn't have to. So I'm all about it. So yeah, I'm totally agreement with that. So, and again, I don't bow to people. I'm like, unless you are the Lord himself, I don't bow to you. So, Ladybird says, the royal family is so emotionless. No wonder David Icke says they are reptiles. I don't know who David Icke says. And okay, that's very interesting. Okay. Thank you, Ladybird. Kim says, Trevor, she's talking to Trevor Rodney, you're correct. But what Charles doesn't see, he's running out of things to leverage and he's pushing Harry further away. You know, I honestly don't think I don't think he wants Harry close. That's my thing. I don't think he wants Harry close. That I love them as they build their life overseas. I think that's him, like, I don't want you here. I want you overseas where you're not going to take up the spotlight, where you're not going to overshadow me. Charles does not like to be overshadowed. That's why Diana was, Diana even talked about it, because when they first married, when they were first married, that they would do engagements together. And then when she started just getting so much more popular than him, he did not do engagements with her. And she talked about that really hurt her. And she really missed doing engagements with him, but he wouldn't do it with her because she overshadowed him. She wanted her far away from him. And I think it's the same thing here. I don't think, even though the press is like, oh, Harry, the royal family needs you. You need to be here to support William and all of those things. I honestly do not think Charles wants Harry there. And honestly, even though I think William wants Harry there only so that he can have someone to throw under the bus and to do his work, and give him credit, I don't think they generally want Harry and Meghan close. Because again, if you look at the funeral, this was supposed to be Queen Betty can't even be the star of her own funeral. You know what I mean? They don't want them there because Harry, and when they're there, they're all the press. I mean, we only saw Harry and Meghan very briefly for 3 times in the 10 days or how long they were there. That a part of the funeral. And that was where all the press was focused. And so for Charles, I don't think he wants Harry there. I think that is his goal. Push them away. You don't insult and belittle and do all the things that he did to Harry while he was there. If that's, if you wanted somebody close, you wouldn't do those things. Those things are specifically designed to push someone away. You don't want them there, to go away. And so, yeah, I don't think he wants him there. Carolyn says, where are the human rights activists? I would love to know. Harry and Meghan are abused and bullied day in, day out, and nobody is saying anything about how they are treated. We were tweeting about that the other day. Where are the anti-bully organizations? Like, we were tagging them during the funeral. Like, why aren't you people saying anything? Why aren't you saying a word? And today, actually, on Twitter, even the Diana Project, the Diana Awards, part of their organization is anti-bully. And today they were tweeting about, I think it's like suicidal awareness. And I guess today is like a suicidal awareness day or something. I don't know if but they tweeted about it today. And I saw it and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. If I do it, I'm going to do it privately, like not tweet about it. But it's like, you guys have an anti-bully department. How come nobody stood up? How come nobody has said anything? Meghan especially has been bullied horrendously in the, again, just these last 2 weeks, forget all the, before. But right there in the UK, and you guys were all there. And nobody said a word. She's been bullied for 6 years. No one of them has ever said a word. And I'm like, wow. Unreal. Let's see. Black Queen's, oh wait, Black Queen, where did he go? Okay, they use Charlotte for PR to show that Kate is a good mother, consoling her. Yeah, I mean, the kids at the funeral definitely is, and that again, that spotlight on kids, man, the royal family, unreal. They absolutely why they would bring kids there, And you could see, like I saw a video of Charlotte. It looked like she was telling what is this, George? I almost forgot what his name is. George, what to do, like when, about to bow. And so it's just like you could already see the indoctrination of Charlotte. You could already see, you can already see it. And again, she looks like a very smart little girl. And so even though she's the younger one, it's like if you could literally see her lips telling him that he needs to pow. And it's just like, wow. But again, they use kids. I mean, we should never see these things. For me, I would protect, if I were me, I would definitely not have my kids where, yes, to a private service, if you want, to bring them to a private service for their grandmother, whatever, grandmother's funeral and a private service, but not where they're exposed to the press, where they can just sort of create any kind of drama using your kids. Like I don't understand, but that's what the monarchy does. That's how they use children. Let's see. Lydia says, I would be in and out and let him know how I would not attend Charles' funeral, as that point William would be king. Meghan would never bow to William or Kate. Yeah, I don't see Meghan bowing to them. Weren't people all excited that now that they are, the Prince and Princess of Wales, Meghan will bow to them? And I guess people were expecting Meghan to bow. And it's like, I think y'all will wait a long time. She would curtsy the Queen because she very much respects the Queen, but I don't see her bowing or curtsying to Charles or Camilla or any one of them. So maybe she'll do it maybe she did it I don't know, but at least I didn't see it. I don't think so. Yeah. Oh, it's talking about Charles's funeral. Oh God, I hate talking about people's funeral, but I don't. Yeah, I'm telling you, for me, I am of the please stay away from these people. Just love them from afar. Let's see. Let's do one more before we go. Shirley Slaughter says he can take back Frogmore. Just pray Harry's back for what he paid for. Oh, they pay Harry back for what he paid for it. Yes, let's definitely hope so. And again, if they take it back, that means Harry doesn't go there, and I am happy. Might be sad for Harry because again, that's his family, as they have their own relationship. But for me, I would be very happy to Harry and Meghan to stay far away from there. So anyway, guys, we're gonna end it here. It is, oh my gosh, it is like 2 hours and 41 minutes. Really? That's how long we've been here? Oh man. I haven't chat with you guys in it forever. So I guess, it was great to catch up and great to see great to see everyone and chat with everyone. So thank you guys so much. Thank you to our awesome moderators. And this is how long I haven't done this. I forgot to bring in my credits. So thank you all so much for our awesome moderators, Lydia, Church Nelly, Karen M, Julia Rock, Cookies and Cream. Thank you guys so much for just making our space safe and wonderful, so that way we can have a safe chat without any people interrupting or any of those trolls coming aboard. Lucia Scott, thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you for your support, and all of our other friends who supported us today. Thank you so much. Thank you to our 2 Cents crew who supports the channel monthly. I appreciate you, and all of you who, as Lucia, has supported us via super chat, super stickers, super thanks, merchandise, any of those things, PayPal, Cash App. Thank you all so much. As again, if you haven't subscribed, do as that little scrolly thing on the bottom says. Please subscribe, and so that way when we drop a video, and so that you can know when we are here. We'd love to have you. And please, just so you know, again, you have to be subscribed for 1 week, so that way you can join the chat, and I want you to be here on the chat. So thank you guys again. I love you all. I will see you next time. Have a fantastic rest of the weekend. Bye. I'll probably see you guys later at Barron's. So love you all.